Hey everybody, it's Jackie from Mira Stitch and Post. Today I'd like to share with you a super easy method for making flying geese units. There are a number of different sizes. Today we're going to show you how to make a 3.5 by 6.5 flying geese unit. So we're going to start. We have our two squares and I'll go over the sizing with you later. What I want to do is you can see I've got my one square right sides together with my back square, and I'm going to start by drawing a line on the diagonal. And now this line will become my cutting line. Before I move to my sewing room, I'm going to just pin those two in place so they don't shift. And now I'm going to move to my sewing machine. So come on over with me. Here I am in my sewing room, sitting in front of my beautiful Epic 980Q, a brand new sewing machine by Husqvarna Viking. And what I want to do is I want to make a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So I have my 1/4 inch foot on my sewing machine. I'm simply going to lower my presser foot, and I am going to stitch a 1/4 inch seam allowance on either side of the line. Alright, so we've come to the end of our seam allowance. I'm going to simply cut my thread, and I'm going to reverse my squares, and I am going to do exactly the same seam allowance on the opposite side of the drawn line. So I'm there, I've got my 1/4 inch, and I'm sewing once again to the end. My 1/4 inch seam allowance, I'm going to take my ruler and my rotary cutter, and I'm going to cut on that drawn line. Again, that's my cutting line. Once I have it cut, I'm going to separate the two, and I'm now going to go to the ironing board, and I'm going to press my seam towards the large triangle. And that's important to remember, it's the large triangle. All right. I have come back from the ironing station, and once again just want to show you that I have pressed both my seams towards the larger triangle. Now that I have that done, I'm simply going to put my square right side up. I'm going to take its twin sister and I'm going to layer them right sides together. So light triangle to dark triangle to light triangle. Once again, I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to again draw a diagonal line from corner to corner on the block. Once I've done that, I'm going to go back to my sewing machine, and I'm going to do, once again, I'm going to draw or sew a 1/4 inch seam allowance either side of that line. So I'm going to go over to my sewing room, and we're going to do that now. All right, here we are back from the sewing room again, and you can see by looking, I've drawn my line corner to corner, and I've gone and I've sewn a 1/4 inch seam allowance on either side of that line. So I'm going to again take my ruler, and that drawn line, just to reinforce, that is my cutting line. So I'm going to take my rotary cutter and ruler, and I'm going to cut. So once I've got them cut in half, again, I now have two triangles. And when you open it up, this is what you have. Don't panic, it's correct. But you're going to notice that there's a gap in between these two units. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your scissors, and you're just going to clip in the middle. If you feel with your fingers, you'll feel an empty space. And what I want you to do is take your scissors, and I want you just to make a clip, just like that. What that's going to do is it's going to facilitate the pressing, because the next pressing instruction for this is, again, to press your seam towards the larger triangle. And in order to do that, I need that little clip so that my seams will spin. All right, folks, we're back from the ironing station, and I just wanted to show you what my finished unit looks like once I've done the pressing. And you can see where the seams have been pressed towards the larger triangle on all sides. And the little clip that I made, that just facilitated the fact that we needed to make those seams go opposing. So once we have that, our right side of the unit looks like this. So I'm going to take my Quilt in a Day ruler, and this one here makes a 3 by 6 inch finished flying geese and a 1.5 by 3 inch flying geese unit. So I'm going to take this green triangle that you see here lined on the ruler, and I'm going to place it on top of my unit, and I'm going to line that up so that it's on the inside of that line. Once I have that, I'm going to take my rotary cutter. And I know Mama told you never to cut towards yourself, but just a little cut. That'll avoid jamming it into the ruler and across the top. Now, if you have a rotating mat, you can simply rotate this unit. I don't here in the shop right now. I'm going to take my unit, I'm going to rotate it, and then reposition my ruler on top, again, that green triangle, will be on the inside, lining up with the white fabric. And I'm going to, once again, cut across and down on the bottom. And voila, there you have a perfect flying geese ruler. Very few pieces, very easy to do. It's perfectly cut to size because of your ruler that you're going to use. And there are a number of different size rulers that you can get, and you can just see here that we have a number of different packages for every size flying geese that you need to make for your quilting projects. If you have any questions about any of this, you can always call the shop. Our phone number is 902-727-3423. Thanks, and have fun making your flying geese.